Okay, we're live. So, hi everybody. I'm really sorry for the delay and the confusion. We had some last-minute computer crashing, but I'm Steve. I am a current senior studying biomedical engineering. I'm originally from Heartland, Wisconsin, and I will be hosting tonight's live chat. So basically, this is just an online student panel. So this is an online live chat, and now hopefully we have all the technical issues resolved. And basically, so you've been tweeting in questions, and we'll get to those in a second, but first we're just do some quick introductions. So why don't we start with Cassandra?
Hi everyone, I'm Cassandra. I'm a junior studying industrial and systems engineering, and I'm originally from New Jersey. On campus, I'm the Vice President of Corporate Affairs for the Society of Women Engineers. I also have served on leadership for the school's Catholic Center for the past 2 years, so this year I'm working on bringing really big speakers to campus for a speaker series. Last summer, I interned at Abbott Labs in Chicago, and I worked in a biology lab last year. And so you can ask me about any of those questions, and I guess Gordy will be next.
Hi guys, I'm Gordon Lanza. I'm a senior studying biomedical engineering with an emphasis in electrical engineering. Feel free to ask me any questions about studying abroad. I went abroad in Rome a couple summers ago. Internships, Greek life on campus, anything like that. Good to see you guys.
Hi guys, my name is Kat. I'm from Seal Beach, California, and I'm studying industrial and systems engineering here with a minor in classics. On campus, I'm involved in USC Hellenes, which is an all-girls service and hostessing organization. I play club water polo, and I do research at Children's Hospital, Los Angeles. Last summer, I studied abroad in Madrid with the Viterbi overseas program, and this coming summer, I'll be interning at Boeing. So yeah, I think Pedro is next.
Hey guys, my name is Pedro. I'm a sophomore studying electrical engineering with a minor in computer science. This past summer I was at Northrop Grumman doing a radar software, and I'm going to be returning this summer to do a rotational position. So I'm really excited for that. On campus, I'm the Director of Community Outreach for the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and I also play tons of intramural sports, so if you have any questions about anything, totally let me know, or any one of my fellow Viterbi students. I'll pass it down to Will now.
Hey guys, my name is Will. I'm a current senior studying chemical engineering with an environmental emphasis and a minor in theater. And I'm originally from the Washington, D.C. area. On campus, I'm in an a cappella group. I'm also president of Mortarboard, which is a senior honor society. I'm also president and co-founder of the USC Trojan Alliance, which is an LGBT pre-professional organization here on campus. I've also gotten the chance to study abroad both over the summer in Rome with Gordy and Steve with the Viterbi Summer Overseas program, and I also took a semester studying that fall at the University of Edinburgh in their engineering school.
Okay, thanks everybody. I'll give a little more info about myself. I was a little rushed before, but so I am the co-president of the Associate Students of Biomedical Engineering on campus, and then I also am a freshman academy coach, as a couple other people are. So we mentor all the freshman engineers when they get here. And I just want to introduce you real quick to Natalie. She's in the back here. She's going to be helping us out with some back-end stuff, feeding us questions that you send in. So be sure to say nice things to Natalie in your questions. But with that, we will get started. So the first question comes from Avanti, and she wants to know, how would you describe USC in a word? And luckily, you guys all blogged about that a few weeks ago. So who wants to give their word for USC first?
I'll do it. Or I don't know if you want to, Cassandra. Go ahead.
Go for it.
No, go ahead, Pedro.
All right. So I would say USC in a word is resourceful. So coming from a high school where I didn't have all the resources I wish I had, I really had a lot of. It was a really shocking experience coming here and having a math center and a Viterbi academic resource center where I could go and get help from people who have already taken courses that I'm maybe having trouble in or just want to gain more insight on. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Cassandra.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way one word I would use to describe USC is stimulating, because at USC there's so many different opportunities here. There's research, student org involvement. I know that I have the opportunity this semester. I'm taking this class called iPodia, and it's an international global innovations class. So I'm meeting students from Israel, Germany, Korea, and so that's super stimulating too to hear about their different cultures. So I think that's yeah, stimulating in the sense that like there's so many different opportunities available to you here.
Awesome. Does anybody else remember what they blogged about or have a new word that they want to describe it with?
I'll jump in here. I think the word I used in my blog was global. As I mentioned, I've gotten the chance to study abroad twice now, which is something that was really important to me coming into college, and USC definitely supports having a global mindset. I also recently went to London right before spring break with a couple of Viterbi students and our deans for the Global Grand Challenges Summit in London, which was an amazing opportunity to meet tons of engineers from across the world to come together to look at ways to solve the world's most pressing problems. So I think USC puts a really strong focus on maintaining a global mindset and making sure that students are ready to go out into the world. Engineering is such a global discipline in this day and age, and I think USC really realizes the importance of that.
I'll jump in and say USC in a word is collaborative. To me, it was one of the things like USC when I toured the school is just the atmosphere of the campus, and it's become even more true as I've taken classes here. It doesn't really feel kind of dog eat dog. You're competing head to head with anyone. It really just feels like you're there to succeed together, which I really like.
Cool. Yeah, we have some great words. If you guys want to read, actually, every single Viterbi student ambassador blogged about this. So head over to viterbivoices.usc.edu, which you are clearly already on as you were watching this live chat. But go just search for USC in a word, and you'll see a lot of good opinions. But we will move on to our next question now. So somebody asked, actually, I think a few people asked, are students engaged in class? Do they make school a high priority? So what do you guys think based on your experiences in classes?
I think that we definitely are engaged in class. At least personally, a lot of my class projects are group projects, and so you're kind of forced to like do your homework with other people because you have not only a commitment to do well yourself academically, but also like your teammates are depending on you, and as a result, like because people have different schedules and stuff, you always have to make school kind of like the first thing that you're worried about, just to make sure that you can like fit that in your schedule first, because you know that you're kind of constrained by other people's schedules too.
Yeah, and I'll add something to that. Also, I feel that like, the atmosphere in class is competitive, but it's also very convivial. So everybody works off of each other. You ask each other questions and say, hey, did you get an opportunity to figure this out? And then you talk to each other and you help each other out. So I feel that students are definitely engaged because there's not a lack of people who you can go to if you have a particular concern about your work. Additionally, you need to hurry and get to class so that you can get a good seat in the front row so that you can get your learn on. At least I try to do it because I like sitting in the front row.
Get your learn on.
Yeah.
Nice. Anybody else want to add to that? Thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I think in all the classes I've been in, people work really hard. Especially it's engineering. Like you need to, as smart as you think you are now, like you're gonna need to bust your own to succeed at USC.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I agree with what everybody said. We're engineers. We work hard. People care. They're here to learn, here to succeed. Everybody wants to do well. Actually, going off that topic then, so first of all, are all those classes that you're engaged in taught by professors? And like basically, if you want to just talk at all about like student-faculty interaction and like what your experiences have been with that.
I can jump in on that one. All of the courses are taught by professors. There are, with some of your larger courses, there are discussion sections, breakout sessions where you sort of meet in a smaller group and go over the material with the TA, but all the courses are taught by professors. And I found that the professors at USC are definitely very engaged with the students, and they make an effort to get to know the students. That being said, in some of my larger courses, they don't necessarily know you in the lecture because there's maybe 100 students. But if you make the effort to get to know them outside of class, to go to their office hours, they're definitely open to getting to know you. And I've definitely used office hours as a way to not only understand the material more, but just get to know my professors personally, learn a little bit more about their lives, and develop relationships that I've continued over the semesters. And through those interactions, I've gotten to know some really great professors who've written me fantastic letters of recommendation. I
just want to talk about my experience about professors too. So last semester I had this class and there was about like 40 students in it, and the professor made it a priority to know each and every of the students' names in class. We could specifically call on them, and so if someone had a question, he'd say, "Oh yeah, Cassandra, what's your question?" And then this semester I have 2 classes with this one professor who actually ran 99 marathons in his life, and so I was training for the LA Marathon, which I just ran a few weeks ago. And so when I went to his office hours, not only did I ask him for technical help with everything that he taught us in class, but I also asked him for a little of some advice about the marathon as well. So it's really nice to make those personal connections with the professors as well. And I know that for several of my professors, almost like all of them, if you cannot make the office hours that they set, because they do set like office hours throughout the week, like, oh, I will definitely be available to my students like from like 12 to 2, Tuesday, Thursday, excuse me. But if you can't make those office hours, the professors are totally free. Like if you can't make those office hours, you can email the professor and say, I can't make those office hours, but I'm free like from like 3 to 5 on Friday. Like, are you free then? Can I meet with you? And then they'll meet with you then. So they're very accessible as well.
Okay, we had a lot of questions come in really rapidly during that answer, so clearly people like Cassandra. People are wondering, what is the coolest thing a professor has done in class? Do you guys have good examples? I can start with one. I actually want to talk about Dr. Bickers, the honors physics teacher, and he teaches like a bunch of the physics class that engineers take. And he, every semester, does a walking on hot coals to show us about like heat transfer, and it's mostly just an excuse for him to be awesome. So, and there's always like cool demos. He'll make things explode. I had a chemistry teacher one time who like actually made like the iodine powder that is like really explosive, like you touch it with a feather, and she literally like put it in the hallway on the way into class and was like, "We surprise next class." So that was fun. So does anybody else have cool stories about their professors?
Actually, in my linear circuits class, our professor, every time he gives us an example in class, he plays like metal. So that we can focus. So I don't know how that works, but it's actually pretty fun. Like every time he gives us a practice problem in class, we already look forward to the music. I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. He's a light-spirited guy.
Kat, do you have anything? You look like
I
you want to
remember
say
in one of
something.
my chemistry classes.
Oh,
Sorry.
Cassandra, go, Cassandra.
Okay, one of my chemistry professors made ice cream out of using liquid nitrogen and cream and sugar, and he distributed it to the entire class of like 150 students. I mean, of course, some people didn't get it because there wasn't enough ice cream to go around. I know, I actually didn't get to taste it, but I really wanted to. But I thought that was really cool that he showed the practical applications of what we were learning in chemistry.
Cool. Okay, so follow up on that. People are asking, so in these classes where you're engaged and you're talking to your professor, how big are these actual classes? How many students do you have in them? You can talk about a range of your classes.
I can go on this one.
Okay, go ahead, Will.
Okay. The classes totally range depending on what you're taking. You'll start out as an engineer taking classes like math classes, chemistry, physics, biology, that sort of stuff. Those can be a little bigger because it's not just engineers in those courses. You have pre-med majors and chemistry majors and biochem majors, things like that. So those classes, maybe like the big intro to chemistry lectures, are about 100, 150 students. Again, there's breakout sessions in all of those, so you can get interaction with TAs and things like that. And then as you move up in your upper division engineering courses, you'll be taking courses mainly with the people in your major, so those will be a little smaller, maybe 40 people, and the more specialized the courses get, the smaller they get. Outside of engineering, you'll take general education courses, English, history, writing courses. Some of those, my freshman writing course had 12 people in it, so there's really a pretty big range between very small classes to larger classes, but no matter what the size of the class, there are ways to get that one-on-one interaction with professors and TAs.
Okay, thanks, Will. I think that was a pretty complete answer. Does anybody have anything that they want to add to that?
I think you pretty much covered it.
Yeah, I think you got it, Will. Nice work. So I think the next question that came in was, people are wondering if you could talk about your research. So if you've done undergraduate research, maybe like talk about like when you started and then what you did. So who here has done research? Maybe just raise your hand. No, Steve, Kat. Okay, well, I guess Steve and Kat will be talking about their research. So I started my research freshman year, actually. I just went to my BME 101 professor and asked him if he knew of colleagues in the department that might take a freshman. He gave me like 5 people's names and emails. I looked up what they did, emailed all of them. 3 of them got back to me within a few days. I interviewed with 2 of them because they were looking for somebody, and actually ended up joining one of their labs and worked there for a year, which I really enjoyed. I was doing basically prototyping for retinal implants, which, if you don't know, that's like a big research push that USC has going on, and it's for restoring sight for people who have become blind due to macular degeneration, where they stimulate the optic nerve directly with a circuit. And so it's actually really cool, or an electrode to stimulate the optic nerve directly. And so to get to work on that was huge for me. So I don't know, Kat, do you want to talk about your research too?
Yeah, sure. My research is, it started as a class project. In one of my ISC classes, I had to do work with an outside company, and I didn't really know who to go to, so I asked my professor for a contact, and he introduced me to a nurse. Research with her, and I kind of like developed my research further than just what I did in the class. But my research specifically focuses on eliminating delay in medical equipment delivery to outpatients. So it's really interesting. I didn't really know anything about healthcare prior to doing my research, but I've been doing it for about a year now. Talked about doing some other projects with her, and I'm actually going to have one of my papers published, and I get to go present at a conference this summer in Chicago. So it's really awesome. I've loved doing research at Children's Hospital. Yeah, I don't know. That's it for me, I guess.
Cool, thanks, Kat. And again, this is another thing that on Viterbi Voices, if you just type in research, or I think there's a tag for research or a blog category for research, you will find plenty of blogs about our fellow students who have done a lot of research. It's actually pretty common for people to do it here because we are a big research university. So another thing that's common and people are asking about is, can you minor as an engineering major? And that was asked by Kevin. Hey, Kevin. And I know that a couple of our panelists definitely have minors, so why don't we let Will talk, because I think he has one of Viterbi's most popular minors.
I do, actually. Surprisingly enough, one of Viterbi's most popular minors is the theater minor. And may be a little unorthodox, but I think you'll find there are a lot of students here who have that Renaissance mentality. They love the sciences, but they also love the arts and to do things like theater that are a little more creative. So I chose the minor. I think as most students choose minors just because it's something they're interested in, it's something that they really enjoy. And I found it pretty easy to fit in the minor. I told my advisor when I came in as a freshman that I wanted to minor in theater, and we figured out a way to work out my class schedule so I can fit the classes in. I've taken about one or two theater classes per semester in order to finish the minor. Additionally, other students sometimes just take classes they're interested in and don't even fulfill a minor, which is also totally fine. There are a lot of really fun classes out there in the film school and the School of Communications, and classes like sailing or improv in the School of Theater that students will just take because they've heard great things about them. And you know, engineering students usually have a couple units to fill out every semester, so they'll just take classes that interest them most.
Yeah, I can jump in too here. Oh, sorry. Is that okay?
No, you got it, Kat.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I'm a classics minor, actually, so like ancient history and stuff. I took one of my GEs was called Civilization in Ancient Rome. I think that was the title, and I really enjoyed the class. And I went to go talk to one of the classics advisor about possibly adding a minor, and he said, "Yeah, you can totally add a minor." And it was really easy. All I had to do was kind of like show him that I would be able to like fit one in my schedule. So I kind of talked about my course load with him, and then he said, "Yeah, you know, it looks like you do have room, like especially if you take a class over the summer." But yeah, I really love having a minor because it's so different. My specific minor is so different from engineering. It's more history and kind of philosophy based. So I'm really enjoying it.
I'll also add on to that. Or are you going to go, Steve?
You got it, Pedro.
I decided to minor in something a bit more technical. I'm actually minoring in computer science. And I was actually inspired to do so after my summer internship at Northrop Grumman, where I was working on radar software. So I don't know, I really enjoy it too, and I actually went to go speak to the computer science advisor, and he told me it could fit perfectly into my schedule, and as long as I stay on track, I should be good. Also, you can take a lot of other fun courses. Like I'm working on my public speaking skills now. So next semester, I'm going to be taking a public speaking course, even though it doesn't satisfy anything necessarily. But
oh, you're doing so well, though, Pedro. Such a good public speaker already.
Thank you.
You actually gave us a nice segue into our next question. So you mentioned your internship, and the next question is, or actually, a lot of people apparently are asking about internships. So talk about any internships you've had, and if you want to talk at all about, well, yeah, let's start with talking about internships. So let's do another show of hands. Who here has done at least one internship? Okay, awesome. So we got a lot of internships on this panel, and so let's see, who wants to talk about theirs first?
Cass, you want to start? We'll go down the line.
Let's do it.
Sure. Okay, so I interned at Abbott Laboratories, and that was in Chicago. That was their headquarters. It was really fun. There were 150 other interns at that location, so it was like a mini college feel. But the work that I did was in the environmental department. And so what I basically worked at was I made sure that all of their machines and all of their departments were all like in compliance for the for the environmental health and safety audit that was happening that summer, and it only happened like once every 3 years. So I was in charge of that. And then something that was really cool that Abbott offered to the interns was a 2-day training course in Lean Six Sigma, and I think that it was very instrumental in me deciding to switch my major. I was environmental engineering at the time, and then after I took that workshop, which was so interesting to me, I then decided that ISE would be better for me because ISEs do use Lean Six Sigma in their work. So I decided to switch my major then, and I talked to my advisor about it, and she was very helpful, and I can still graduate in 4 years. So that was my internship experience, and it was really great to work in the real world and to make those contacts. To make those contacts and network and see what it's like to work a 9-to-5 job 5 days a week.
Cool.
So my internship was at a semiconductor manufacturer up in the Silicon Valley named Cortina. I had an outstanding time. This really leaned more into my electrical emphasis, which is kind of nice. As a biomedical engineer, I was kind of worried about applying to electrical emphasis, like things that work on that emphasis. But I'm kind of leaning towards doing electrical for a master's, so it was really good to get some hands-on experience in that industry. I ended up programming GUI for a test environment that they wanted for their new high-gain forward-air correction chip, and it worked perfectly. My boss was really happy. For me, the best part about the internship was kind of like realizing what skills I was learning in the classroom that were really useful in industry, and it turned out that statistics and a lot like the electrical engineering Boolean logic was the most useful. So I had a great time.
So I'll just talk a little bit more about my internship. I was here in El Segundo, close to USC, at Northrop Grumman, and I was working on radar software. So it was really cool for me because I got to apply ideas of signal processing into the radar aspect of my work, and I got to develop some software skills, some software development skills. And like I said, it also inspired me to pick up my my minor. Additionally, I got to see what it is like to interact with career professionals and to learn from everybody in the industry. And it was really cool just picking at their brains and seeing when I could possibly take someone, invite someone to lunch and ask them what they did to get where they're at. Also, luckily this summer I got selected for this position where I'm going to be a rotating intern. So I'll get to be with a different boss each summer. So it's pretty cool because they're guaranteeing me an internship. So it was a really good opportunity, and luckily I got the opportunity to return. So I'll pass it back down to Will. We can talk about his.
I want to talk. I'm still here.
No, you
first of all, I want to give a shout out to Vanessa, who just liked my post in the Freshman Facebook group. So thank you, Vanessa. I really appreciate that somebody's paying attention. But anyway, so I interned with Amgen last summer, and for those of you guys who don't know, it's one of the largest biotech companies in the world. So it was a really, really great experience for me. And then this summer I'll actually be interning with Abbott, so I've asked Cassandra quite a few questions about what to expect. But I'll actually be working in a totally different branch. So there's a lot you can experience at different companies, and getting an internship is a really, really great way to make progress towards both finding out what you want to do and also towards your career and your major. So I really, really recommend it. And I think Viterbi has a ton of resources, as people have mentioned, for finding these internships. I did all my interviews on campus through the Viterbi Career Center, so it was really convenient for me. So Will, do you want to talk about yours?
Sure. So I actually had kind of a little bit of a different internship. Last summer, I went back home to DC, and I interned at the Ocean Renewable Energy Coalition, which is a trade association that does lobbying for the marine renewable energy industry. So that's anything having to do with wave energy, tidal energy, offshore wind, that kind of thing. So it wasn't really an engineering internship, more of a policy internship, but I've always been really interested in renewable energy, and I wanted to kind of see what it would be like from more of the policy arena. I really enjoyed it. I think I brought a lot to the internship because I understood more of the science behind the renewable energy, and I think my skills there were really valued, and I learned a lot more about communication. I did a lot of writing, news articles and things like that, a lot of tweeting, so I really, really enjoyed my time there. And it just shows you that as an engineer, you're not limited to just doing engineering things. Plenty of people go out into the world of policy. They go to law school or med school or things like that, so I really enjoyed it.
And then one question people have a lot is about co-ops, because for those of you who don't know, co-ops are, well, actually, let's have Kat describe it, because I think Kat has a story. She knows somebody doing a co-op. So, Kat, can you tell us what a co-op is, and also tell us about your friend?
Yeah, definitely. So one of my good friends, Zach, he actually studied abroad with me in Madrid last summer. He is taking a semester off from USC to co-op at Disney. So he's been working at Disneyland as an industrial engineering intern, I guess, and he's been really busy, so I haven't been able to really talk to him too much, aside from asking him, like, what classes are you going to take next semester, because, I don't know, we're, like, friends in our major and stuff. But he did tell me that he's found his work really meaningful, and he says a lot of the stuff that he's been doing has been really related to a lot of the stuff that we've had in our classes. So that was really awesome to hear. But, yeah, so he'll be back next semester. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Kat. We're going to move on to the next question. So people are asking about housing. Everybody wants to know about housing. So first, I want to give a notice. If you go to the main Viterbi Voices page, and there's a slide for it. Actually, I think you can just go to viterbivoices.usc.edu/housing, and we have a video where we interviewed freshman engineers, current freshmen from every single dorm on campus, or almost every dorm. And so you can both see inside the rooms and also just hear what they have to say about where they live. And actually, all of them love where they live. So as far as what's the best housing, it's wherever you live, because you're biased, because that's where your friends live. So, but does anybody else want to talk about their freshman housing experience or their opinions on this?
I'll jump in.
Go, Garchon.
So my freshman year, I asked people who I knew from my high school who went to USC kind of what housing they liked. And they said New North was a very social one, so I put that as my number one. I ended up living there as a freshman, and I had a really good time. It's a very traditional style dorm where there's a lot co-ed floors, 2 people to a room. Yeah, I had an outstanding time. A lot of my best friends that I still hang out with today and are living with now, I met in New North.
Cool.
I lived in Parkside, Arts and Humanities, and I thought it was kind of interesting because I was placed on the music floor. So on my floor, there are people that were really interested in music and a lot of musicians. So that was kind of cool. Parkside is a suite style. So there's 4 rooms, 2 people to each room, and there's 2 bathrooms in each suite, and on each floor there are like guy suites and girl suites kind of across from each other. And it was nice because it was more like a quiet setting. And getting your own bathroom was kind of nice. So I guess it really is just all depending on like what you want for yourself freshman year. Like if you really want that like quiet atmosphere, that social atmosphere, how much privacy you want. So those are the things that you have to think about when you're choosing your housing.
Yeah, also to add on to that, I lived at Parkside International Residential College, which is neighbor of Parkside Arts and Humanities. And it was a similar setup. I lived in a suite with 4 rooms. 3 of us had our own room, and one of the rooms had 2 people, and we also shared 2 restrooms. And it was really cool because one of my roommates was Canadian, the other one was from Greece, and my other roommate was also a California native, but the other one was from the Middle East. So it was really cool. It was really diverse. Got the opportunity to learn about a lot of cultures, and it was also really quiet for us too. And since we had our own room, you could study in there and sleep in there. You could do whatever you want, whenever you want. So I really enjoyed my freshman suite.
Cool. Anybody else have a wildly different housing experience that they want to blow everybody's minds with, or was that should everybody just go to viterbivoices.usc.edu/housing? Check it out, guys. Blogs about housing, a video about housing. It's great. That's all the information you could ever want. Also, the USC housing website, sure. But so I just want to jump in real quick and give a couple more shout outs. So we have Uday on Twitter just tweeted a question about computers, which we'll get to in a second. And more people have liked the post on the Facebook group, so thank you to Forrest, Abby, Mateus, and Yeji. I'm really sorry if I butchered a bunch of names there, but I'm doing my best. So thanks, guys, while I run both computers. But anyway, so the question from Twitter is, what kind of computer should I get? Like, he's a computer science major. What kind of computer should he get? So you guys, what is your opinion for, does it matter what kind of computer you get?
I know Gordy will agree with me on this. I totally love my MacBook. And you know, I have it a dual booted, so half of my hard drive is actually designated to Windows. So anytime I need my good old OS X, I can boot it up, or when I need Windows, I can do that too. So I don't know if you want to answer that, Gordy.
Just get a. I don't know why you would get a PC. It can only run Windows. Get a Mac. It can run both.
Okay, so counterpoint from Steve. I have a PC and I've used it all 4 years and I love it. So I think what the moral of the story is here is that it doesn't really matter, because who wants to talk about the USC? Like, first of all, okay, you will download software, but it works almost all the time for any computer. I think every software I've ever had to use has worked for both Mac and PC. There's also 24-hour computer labs. Who spends a lot of time in Sal here? Yeah. Okay. You guys want to talk about the computer labs real quick? Let's have Will talk about the computer labs.
Yeah. So Sal is a great place to study. I go there a lot. There are desktop computers that run both Mac and Windows. So I have used programs that only run on one. I've used a statistics program called Minitab, which only runs on Windows. So and I have a Mac myself, so I'll go onto those desktop computers and boot up the Windows side of it, use that. They also have laptops that you can check out for 4 hours at a time. It's totally free. It comes with a laptop and a charger, and you can take it wherever you need on campus. Just bring it back within 4 hours, or you can even call them to renew it, so you don't have to go back. And that's been fantastic, because sometimes I don't come to campus with my laptop, but realize I need one later on, and I'll go rent those.
And then just to get, because I know we kind of maybe lost it, the question came from a computer science student, and I know you might think that it's different for you, like that just because we're not computer scientists, but honestly, it really does not matter which major you are. Like Pedro and I both take a lot of electrical engineering classes. Pedro is an electrical engineer, and Gordy and I too. We also, like, there's a lot of computer science, electrical engineering overlap, and again, it does not matter. Whatever you're most comfortable with is what we would say.
Get a Mac.
And Gordy has opinions. So now we'll move on to our next question. We spent a lot of time on that computer thing. But let's talk about safety. So everybody wants to know about safety around USC's campus. How do you guys feel? Feel safe? Feel terrified all the time?
I feel wonderful all the time. I think a lot of it has to do with, like, you know, just really having what I like to call situational intelligence. So, you know, if it's late outside, and you're a young lady, and you know, we live in a big city, so there's a lot of people in the city. It's not just students, so you really just do need to be conscious about that. You know, if you're gonna go out in groups if it's late. During the daytime, you shouldn't ever have any issues. Also, USC offers the campus cruiser, and they're running all night. So if you ever need to get from one point of campus to wherever your housing is, or if you want to go out and grab bite to eat somewhere, you can always use that resource too. So you should never have issues, or at least I never have, and I don't know anyone who has.
Anybody else want to give opinions? Kat or Cassandra is when you guys want to talk.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Kat. Sorry.
Okay.
Everybody's eager.
I remember that was like one of my biggest concerns too, and my parents were worried about that too. And I came here, and you know, it does take everyone a couple weeks to adjust. I think, just being in a new environment. But once I got used to it here, I mean, I think I always feel safe when I'm on campus. As Pedro was saying, like, you do have to be intelligent about, you know, are you going to walk down the street alone at night? No. But would you do that at home? No. So it's kind of the same, I think, for me. And Campus Cruiser is awesome. They also have a lot of yellow jacket security guards everywhere. I've been really impressed with USC's security measures so far, and yeah, I would say, you know, be smart, but I think it's fine.
I think, Gordy, you've lived kind of far away from campus for a while. Do you want to talk at all about like that?
Yeah, I've lived a couple blocks off campus the past couple years, and I've never, I mean, it's just never really felt like an issue to me. I've never really felt threatened or endangered. I don't know. It's never really been an issue for me. Or I've always felt safe, to answer the safety question.
Yeah, so I think Gordy brings up a good point. It's not something that is on our minds all the time, and I don't feel unsafe. It's not a big deal. So it's just kind of like, people always ask the question, but it's really, like, people have said it really well. So just, you're in a city, but it's not like we feel safe. I feel safe. My fellow, who feels safe? Raise your hand.
If you're gonna worry about anything,
Cool.
just worry about getting all your work done.
Yeah, worry about your work. Okay. So with that, we have another thing that people love to worry about. If people visited campus, they may have noticed that there were lots of bikes going around, and so people want to know about, as far as getting around campus, do I need a bike? Do I need a bike to get around?
I can jump in for this one.
Okay, go, Will.
I have had a bike all 4 years here, and I've loved it. That being said, I have plenty of friends who don't have bikes, and it's pretty easy to get around on campus. It's not a huge campus. I like having a bike because it gives me the convenience of I can bike to and from campus, back to my apartment pretty quickly. I generally like to sleep in as long as possible, so that means I can get up 10 minutes before class and still make it on time. So that it's really just comes down to personal preference. There are a lot of students on campus, and a good number of them bike or use longboards, but some of them like to walk as well. My roommate walks to class every single day, and we live about like a 15, 20-minute walk from campus, and he really loves the walk in the morning. Says it clears his head a little bit. So it's really just personal preference.
Sounds a lot like Steve.
Yeah, I walk everywhere. I had a bike freshman year, used it, thought it was convenient, but then realized that it was actually more annoying to constantly have to lock it to things. Like, it's common sense, you lock your bike. So I just gave up. I just gave my bike to a friend, and now I don't have a bike. And that's actually when I moved off campus, and I still am fine. I actually walk everywhere. But any other impassioned pro bike arguments?
No, I have a pro board argument.
Pro board. Oh no.
Yeah, you just mentioned right now having to lock up your bike, so it's really cool just skating somewhere and carrying it in with you to class. I don't know. I get around everywhere lightning fast on campus with my board. So I really like
lightning
fast.
Zoomer.
Really boring is the answer. But I think again the takeaway is just it's personal preference. If you know how to longboard, go ahead. It's fun. If you want a bike, it's fun. But you don't need it. You'll be fine on campus. So let's see. Did any of you... Okay, so who is from out of state? Okay, just me and Will. Look at all these locals. Cassandra too. Cassandra with the not raised hand. Okay, let's... I will talk about it first real quick. So I'm from Wisconsin, and I wanted to come to USC because I really wanted to...
And me.
Okay. I really wanted to go.
We got there eventually.
Have a cool experience, somewhere new, somewhere totally different. Challenge myself to go farther away from my family and friends from home, and I have loved every second of it. The weather is better here. Just gonna throw that out there. Wisconsin's great, but it doesn't snow here, and nothing beats that. So I have really liked it, and honestly, what I think is that during freshman year, especially, it's so exciting to be in freshman year, and there's clubs you're joining, there's classes you're taking, there's people you're meeting all the time. I had no problem with homesickness at all, just because it was I didn't have time to be homesick. I was enjoying it too much. So actually my parents will tell you that I didn't call home enough, and I think that's actually kind of a common complaint. So I don't know, Will, do you want to talk a little bit about that? You're from even farther away.
Sure, yeah. So I said I'm from the Washington D.C. area. I'm actually from Northern Virginia. And similarly to Steve, I was excited to go somewhere completely new. I don't think it was a huge adjustment. I think college itself is an adjustment, and the first couple of weeks, it took a little while for me to get used to being in California. I'd actually never been to California before I even visited USC. But I really enjoyed my time here. I wasn't really homesick at all until maybe halfway through the semester, and then I started to miss my family a little bit. But I actually went home during my first semester for a weekend, and that was fantastic. I haven't really gone home any other semester for a weekend besides spring break since then, so clearly I've been able to maintain my homesickness. But really, for me, I was looking for something completely new in a completely new state, and that's what I got by coming here, so no regrets.
No regrets. Hashtag no regrets. Okay, let's go on to, forget to choose myself. So let's see. The next question is about social life. So we talked about how everybody takes their classes really seriously, which is definitely true, but we have Twitter questions. People are asking, do you guys still have fun? So who wants to talk about their social life in college? Gordy does. Go for it, Gortron.
I'll jump in. It's so much fun. I can't even express to you, like, as a senior, it's really hard for me to like come to terms with the fact that I'm graduating in a month and I'm going to almost certainly be having less fun like in a year than I am having now. It's been an absolutely incredible experience. I've made friends that I know I'm going to be keeping in touch with and traveling with, and like it's a really good time. And from the Greek life perspective, it's not really like, I definitely wouldn't say everyone does it, and it's not like you need to do it to have a good time at USC. I wouldn't say it at all. It's just, it's another group of student organizations. And one of the things I like best about USC is I feel like nobody comes here to just like keep their head in the books and spend 24/7 in the library. Everyone's getting involved in something and making friends through that.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I feel like, obviously our majors are, one of the more difficult ones, and but that just, because of all the opportunities at USC to engage with other students, you really see it as an incentive to finish your work faster and really get your things done on time in order for you to, take part in all these other activities that Gordy just mentioned. So it's really cool. I really enjoy, being able to, finish my work and have the opportunity to have a good time.
Yeah, I think Gordy touched on something pretty important, which is that students at USC definitely have a work hard, play hard mentality. We are very studious. We get our work done, and then we really, really like to have fun on the weekends. It's, at least for me, I've found the weekends are a great time to relax and just have fun with my friends, not worry as much about school. I think that students here kind of find their niche, and for me at least, I've found a lot of my main social outlets are through the student organizations I'm involved in, because I've met people who have very similar interests to me, in my a cappella group and other organizations I'm involved in, and those have become my best friends in college, and that's how I have the most fun. I think that's how a lot of students find their social groups here.
Okay, thanks guys. So I think Cassandra actually has to go, so I'm just going to let her say bye real quick, and then we will resume with questions.
Okay, thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm going to have to go now, but if you do have any lingering questions after this, of course, feel free to check out Viterbi Voices, and hopefully that will answer more of your questions. But thanks again for all of your awesome questions, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye, Cassandra. Okay.
Oops, she will be missed.
She will be missed, right? That's what he said. Okay. Cool.
So one last thing about having a social life at USC is we've written a lot of blogs, and I know one of the tags that people use is, quote, fun. So if you go to viterbivoices.usc.edu and search for fun, I'm sure you'll come up with all the good social things we do.
Yeah, that's how you have fun. No, that's true. There's definitely a lot of blogs where we talk about our weekend plans and our what we do, so check it out. The next question is actually about progressive degree program. So for those of you who don't know, that's where in your junior year, usually, you apply to take your master's at USC too. And what they'll do is they'll waive you don't take the GRE, you get some units taken out of the master's, like some requirements, because they know that your undergraduate degree, they know what classes you took, they know what requirements you've met. And then they also give you a lot of flexibility to take classes during your senior year. And so actually I'm doing that program. I'm going to be getting my master's next year in biomedical engineering. And currently as a senior, at the end of the semester, I'm going to be more than halfway done with my master's degree, which is awesome. It hasn't cost any extra because it just goes into your undergrad flat rate tuition until your 5th year. So it's really useful. And I think it's great to just have a master's under my belt when I graduate in 5 years, which is awesome. And I'll have my bachelor's at the end of this year. I'll be a college graduate, and then I'm just coming back. Is anybody else doing PDP? Right.
I wish.
Kat is. Let's have Kat talk about it.
Yeah, I'm doing PDP. I just applied last fall and I got accepted. I haven't started my thanks. I haven't started my coursework yet for my master's because I'm trying to just finish all of my undergrad courses first. But yeah, I mean, I'm all set on track to do to get a master's in financial engineering. Actually, financial engineering is not in ISE, like the Industrial and Systems Engineering department, so I thought it might be a little bit tricky, but it's easy. It's just like, because it's within Viterbi, I didn't have to really apply separately or anything from normal Viterbi progressive degree program. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait.
It's a good time. Thanks, Kat. Let's see. So the next question comes from Kevin again, and he wants to know if you can do sports and be an engineer, and also, I don't know if any of us are on teams. Is somebody? Is Kat on?
Pedro plays rugby.
Yeah, Kat. Why? Kat? Pedro plays rugby. What? I didn't know that. Okay, Kat, go first.
Okay, actually, about an hour and a half ago, I got back from a water polo tournament, and we took 3rd place in our division. I don't play on the varsity team. I play on girls' club team, but yeah, you can definitely play like club or intramural sports here. I actually know, I think like 1 or 2 engineers who are on varsity teams. I think that would be too tricky for me personally, but I mean, you know, if that's like something you're interested in, you can make it work. But yeah, like I love playing a sport in college because it really keeps me energized for the rest of the week, because you know, you get your kind of exercise in, and then you're all energetic, and you can go home, you can do your homework, and I don't know, it's just a really good, it just keeps you in a positive mood. I love it.
Cool.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. So for the most part, during my freshman year, I played rugby, and last semester too. I'm actually recovering from a back injury I got in high school playing football, so I haven't gotten the chance to go out, unfortunately. But as soon as I'm, 100% healthy, I'm going to be going back. I definitely agree with Kat. It gives you a good opportunity to like de-stress and just be with your friends. There's a lot of engineering majors in the USC club rugby team, and I thought that was really cool because I didn't want to feel like I was the only one there, and it was awesome. Additionally, if you go to VKey, I know you guys all received your VKeys for those of you who are admitted students already. It's a great resource to have, and if you go to my page, you will see a video about USC Club Rugby. If you're interested in it, it's a really fun sport. So make sure you check out your VKeys, admitted students, and congrats.
Yeah, also if you go to the Engineering Plus section of VKey, you can click on the Athletics tag, and you'll get to see all the information about NCAA sports, club sports, intramurals, including any of the Viterbi student ambassadors who've written topics about their involvement in athletics.
Does anybody want to talk about just the Lyon Center and gym use in general here for like us less athletically inclined but still healthy individuals?
Gordy.
I'll jump in. The Lyon Center is great. It's open early in the morning to late at night. It goes all the way, I think I want to say either 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. till midnight. It's huge facilities, every possible free weight, bench, machine you could want to use. There's actually an app called GymFlow that we use that shows the expected how busy it's going to be. They've just been recording the data, and it kind of shows you averages over time. So I use that to try to plot my 30 minutes of workout a day. But it's great. I mean, I've spent a lot of time there. I like to think that USC is a pretty people like to be health conscious here, so that's kind of it's a plus.
Cool. Thank you, Gordy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go on to another question. People are asking about the different emphases. So Viterbi has over 30 majors with emphases. You can combine. There's 30 programs, including the emphases, and they actually can have a pretty significant impact on what you take. I know at least 3 of us have an emphasis. And Will, do you want to talk about your major in the emphasis and how it actually impacts your coursework?
Sure. So I mentioned I'm a chemical engineer with an environmental emphasis. And the emphases are really kind of a cool way to specialize and take courses that are a little more focused in your interest. And I get this question a lot. How did you choose your emphasis? Students can sometimes be stressed out about that. I wouldn't worry too much about it. You don't even declare your emphasis really until your junior year. And the best advice I would have for picking an emphasis is that really just choose an emphasis based on things you're interested in. So I actually switched my emphasis 3 times. I started out in the biochemical emphasis. I moved to nanotechnology, and I finally landed on the environmental emphasis because I was interested in renewable energy and sustainable development, so I decided to go that route. In terms of the coursework, the only real difference between the emphases is if you decide to declare an emphasis, there's about 5 or 6 upper division courses that. So say if I were to just choose straight chemical engineering, I'd be taking chemical engineering electives for upper division courses. But because I chose environmental, those 6 or so courses were substituted with environmental engineering courses and civil engineering courses. So it doesn't change it doesn't change dramatically the amount of units you actually need to graduate from your major. It just substitutes those upper division courses with more specialized coursework.
Awesome, thanks, Will. Gordy, do you want to add anything about the BME electrical, or do you think Will pretty much described it?
No, I think you really hit the nail on the head. You take, as a BME electrical, there's probably like maybe 4 or 5 classes we take. I don't know, Steve, maybe that's not right, but like 4 or 5 classes you take that aren't really the same as the just regular BME track, and a lot of them are kind of electrical engineering classes that are like digital design classes. So you learn a lot about logic gates and Boolean logic and kind of like electrical engineering systems, which I think is great. That's like what really interests me.
I want to add something to that because I'm majoring in electrical engineering, and there's a ton of emphases for electrical engineering too. You could do electrical sciences, circuit signals and systems, robotics. I'm personally interested in signal processing communication, so I'm actually going to I'm going to be taking a class for like linear algebra for electrical engineers, and I'm also going to be taking a course for digital signal processing. So it's really cool. I'm excited for that.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks. So yeah, the emphasis is great. It qualifies. You basically have like a second skill set. You just don't go as deep as the people with that full major. But it's really great to pursue a second interest without going so far as a minor or another major. No. Okay. Let's see. So the next question is a good one. It's we live in LA. It's an awesome city. What is the most fun thing you've done in LA in the past month? So
I can start.
We're at USC. So just Natalie is whispering question clarifications at me. Don't forget she's here. So what is the most fun thing you've done at USC or in LA in the last month? Who wants to start?
I can start.
Go, Will.
So I've really enjoyed the opportunity to go to concerts in LA. Actually, just this past weekend at USC, they held Spring Fest, which is a concert series that comes every spring to USC, and they had a bunch of great performers. Walk the Moon, which is one of my favorite bands, came, so I loved seeing them. Additionally, Big Sean was here. One of the guys from Blink-182 was here. So they bring in a couple different artists. So that was really fun. And then the day after that, on Sunday, I actually went with a friend. I went to kind of like a jazz concert. It's like a pop jazz band that I didn't even know about, but she was really into them. And the tickets are really cheap, and I had a really, really great time. So there's a lot of opportunities to see music in LA if that interests you at all.
Actually, funny story. Literally, while you were answering that question, or just seconds before, somebody asked about the concert scene in LA. So nice psychic powers there, Will.
Yeah.
There you go.
Pedro,
I'll add on to the concerts. Freshman year, I got to see the Arctic Monkeys here in the Hollywood Bowl. And I just busted down with a friend, and it was really cool. We took the metro lines, and it was awesome. Also, October 15th, so this past fall semester, I got to see the Black Keys at the Staples Center, and that was right down Figueroa. So that was really cool. Love a concert scene in LA.
Natalie wants to point out that was a question from Gus. Shout out to Gus.
What's up, Gus?
Yeah, hey Gus. Okay, anybody else want to talk about fun things they've done in LA? Who's got it? I'll talk about one. Okay, so I'll talk about the most fun thing I've done on USC's campus recently. Actually, Relay for Life, which is a big fundraiser for the American Cancer Society. It's a 24-hour event. You guys probably have them at your high schools, but we have an awesome one here. Doing it in college is pretty fun because you camp out on the track with a bunch of other college students. We have like a DJ all night. We had like a bunch of different activities and games and some actually really impressive speakers. So I actually enjoyed that a lot. Does anybody else want to? Gordy and Kat, you guys haven't told us what fun thing you've done the last month. No fun.
I mean, for me, my idea of like what really hits the spot for me might not be everyone else's, but there was a day last weekend that I pretty much just woke up, texted my best friends, just see what everyone else was up to. No one was up to anything, so we just spent the whole day playing around the pool at Icon, just soaking in the sun of LA, and just having a great time.
Okay.
I wish I had a cooler story than that.
You know what,
like,
Gordy,
that was the best thing I've had last month.
That was good.
Proud of you.
For me, like, I don't know. I think everything I do here is fun. I can't even think of like one specific thing that I would say is the most fun. I had an awesome time at our tournament this weekend. That's kind of like I'm all into that right now because I was like at the tournament like 2 hours ago. Also, like Steve, you were talking about how we had Relay for Life, and we also have a big fundraiser called Dance Marathon, which all the benefits go to Children's Hospital. But it's like everyone goes to like the campus center ballroom and like dances for like I think it's 12 hours.
12 hours is correct.
Yeah, 12 hours. And like everyone's just there dancing and like having an awesome time. That's probably like the most fun thing I've done lately, I guess. That was super
It seems pretty fun, Kat. I'm going to throw in a couple more things since we have some unfortunate lack of fun. The Associated Students of Biomedical Engineering, which I mentioned earlier, has gone both laser tagging and paintballing in the last month, so I went to both of those. We're going to do a bonfire and a racquetball tournament this weekend, so clearly the BMEs have all the fun, but
also,
yeah, there's a lot to do here.
Gordy said that he texted all his best friends, but I'm wondering why we didn't get an invite.
Yeah, Gordy, weird.
No, I'm kidding.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to move on from that. Okay, so we're going to get into our last question. Thanks for everybody sticking around. I know we started a little late, so as a courtesy to our patient viewers, we're going to go a little late. But the last question is everybody's favorite. Why did you choose USC? So who wants? I think we'll all answer this, and then we'll be done.
I'll take it. For me, I toured in April as a junior. That was kind of my first time here, and it was just like one of the most gorgeous days. I'm from Northern California, so it's a little more gray up there, and I just immediately fell in love with the campus, and that they're really, to me, like a good signs for me, like kind of litmus test I used was one, how much USC gear was everyone wearing, how much school pride did they have, how like invested are they in the campus and their commitment to USC, and everyone was wearing shirts, sweatshirts, you name it. So that was a good sign. And then when I actually went to the engineering school, it seemed to me like a very high percentage of people were smiling. And that to me is like a really good litmus test for like how stressed out the students are, how happy they are with their lives, and that I didn't notice that to the same extent at other schools.
Kat?
Yeah, I mean, kind of echoing off what Gordy said, I remember, I was looking at a couple different schools, and I came to USC, and everyone here just seemed so happy. And even the people, I remember, like, I think I had a tour guide or something, and obviously the tour guide was really nice to me, yeah, because that's their job. But then the random people that I would just ask for directions were also super nice to me, super willing to help. Like, they would actually walk me, like, down the street somewhere to go. I just felt like it was a really supportive environment, and I haven't heard anything bad about it from anyone that goes here. And I don't know, I couldn't resist. I had to go here.
Awesome. The pull was too strong. Pedro.
I'd agree to that. The pull is very strong. I remember showing up on campus, and my sister actually went to UCLA, and it's a great institution. I was like, I was sure I was gonna go to UCLA. And I was admitted to UCLA also, but I came to USC, and I really enjoyed the whole fight on spirit. Like, you hear it, and it's, the school's like motto, but it really grows on you. And you see people walking around, and, they just seem really happy and really confident. And, I don't know, you're like in class, and you don't get something, but you're like, fight on, and you keep on doing it. And I don't know, that really did it for me. Additionally, I mentioned I played football in high school, and our band instructor went to USC. He came to USC, and I had no idea. So I was hearing all these songs throughout high school, and when I came on campus, I heard the band playing the songs, and I felt right at home. So I had a very specific, circumstance as to why I loved it, but I'm really happy with the decision I made to come to USC.
Cool. I'm going to echo a lot of what other people have said. The school spirit, the energy and enthusiasm I felt from the other students. Basically, when I visited campus, I really was struck by, like, people like being here. They like being part of USC. They like being Trojans. And like Gordy said, I hadn't necessarily seen that other places. Like, it had never struck me until I visited USC how much people actually liked it here. So that, I mean, you're choosing a home for 4 years, and I just nothing after that. I was like, this is where I want to be. I want to be part of this. And it's awesome. Game day is the best. Being an engineer here is amazing. The school is constantly, like, moving up, and all the professors are, like, accessible and stuff and trying to improve the programs even more than they already are as a top engineering school. So it's I'd say the fight on spirit extends everywhere beyond even just like student interactions. It's the whole thing. So definitely fight on, guys, and that's why I chose it.
Yeah, I would agree with all that. I think for me, it really came down to I chose USC because USC and Viterbi both really, really support students who are pursuing a diverse set of interests. I think USC recognizes that as engineers, you need communication skills, and it's really valued. They really value students who are interested in other things. So I visited a lot of other engineering schools that said that I couldn't minor and I couldn't study abroad. Both were things that I really, really wanted to do. USC never said that. They have a ton of programs set up for students in engineering to do just that. And I'll be graduating this semester having both minored and studied abroad. I just got named a Renaissance scholar, which was like really, really exciting. So there are programs out there set up to encourage students to pursue to pursue their passions, which really is what college is about. And I haven't found that being an engineer has been limiting in any sense of the word.
Okay, awesome. And I brought in Natalie, somewhat against her will, to answer this question. I'll mute myself.
Hi everyone, nice to join the live chat. I guess why I chose USC, you know, there were just so many opportunities for me that were available at USC that I just couldn't turn down after a while. You know, I'm actually from San Diego, so lived in Southern California my entire life, and I was really set on going back east for school, since that's where most of my friends end up going for colleges. But after visiting USC in the fall of my senior year, and then coming back at the end of my senior year for the on-campus admitted students program, there was just the campus was so alive with so much spirit, and there were so many things that could be involved in, whether it was in the engineering school or USC in general. And so I just fell in love with the school, and it's been a great 3 years for me so far. So with that, I'll hand it back to Steve.
So I'll mute myself. Let's see. Does anybody else have any last thoughts on why they chose USC? Anything nobody said? Okay. You know what? I'm going to throw something in. Gordy's lying. Gordy has thoughts. We chose USC because it's a great school. We want to have a successful undergraduate experience, get a great degree, get a job, go on to grad school, and progress from here. And we knew USC could do that for us. So with that, I'm going to give a final fight on to everybody, and hope you enjoyed the live chat.